name is Edna Acquaah, and I am presenting on the specific rock, pegmatite. I am a member of the 1S1 class. So before we get into this specific rock, we need to know what rocks are in general. So what is a rock? A rock is any natural occurring solid mass or aggregate of mineral or mineraloid material, which is any substance that resembles a mineral but does not demonstrate its crystalline properties. So basically what it's saying is that rocks are solid natural occurring masses. That means they occur on their own. It's not through any artificial process, and that they contain minerals. So contains minerals. So examples of this mineral is feldspar, which is here. As you can see, this is a picture of feldspar. And for mineralized, there are substances that resemble a mineral but does not demonstrate its crystalline properties. Does not the crystalline properties of minerals. So let me just show you an example. So here's a few examples of minerals. As you can see, you have pearl, amber, mother of pearl, and many others. So as you can see, they have the crystalline properties of minerals, but they do not mimic the rest of it. Like they lack the crystalline properties, but they resemble how normal minerals look like. Yes. So now on to the next step. Types of rocks. Types of rocks. There are three main types of rocks. These are igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. So we are firstly going to deal with the igneous rocks. So these types of rocks are created when molten rock called magma underground or when it erupts from a volcano cools down and solidifies. So the magma, which is shown over here, when underground or when it erupts from a volcano. So it can either be underground or when it comes out from a volcano through a volcanic eruption and it cools down and solidifies to create these particular types of rocks. So under the igneous rocks, there are two subcategories. So these are intrusive and extrusive. So intrusive rocks are formed from when magma is trapped deep within the earth, cools very slowly and solidifies. So in this particular rock, it is taking the first part of the definition I gave for the igneous rocks, which is when it is underground and it cools. For the extrusive rocks, so these types of rocks, which is the intrusive rocks, they are normally called green due to the slow cooling. So extrusive rocks, they are formed from when magma erupts onto the earth's surface as lava and cools down quickly. So this is also taking the second part of the definition I gave for the igneous rocks. So this particular one, it happens when the magma comes out as lava through a volcanic eruption. So this one, it cools quickly, so it has a fine grain texture. So on to the next rock, sedimentary rocks. They are formed from sediments, which are small pieces of rocks, minerals, organic materials that have been eroded and exposed by water, ice, or wind. So these types of rock are formed from sediments, and sediments are just little tiny sand. Let's say you can say sand, other minerals, and other materials that have been eroded and deposited by water, wind, or ice. So yes, you can also say that they are formed from the accumulation, deposition, and cementation of sediments. So on to the next rock, metamorphic rocks. They originate from other rocks that have been changed by intense heat, pressure, chemical reaction deep within the earth. So these particular types of rocks, they originate from other rocks. That means that they are either made up of other igneous rocks or other sedimentary rocks that have been changed by heat, pressure, or chemical reactions deep within the earth. So these things occur deep within the earth to create metamorphic rocks. So let's get to the specific rock we'll be talking about today, which is pegmatite. So what is pegmatite? This is a type of intrusive igneous rock. It is often several inches or more in length. It is formed from the slow cooling of magma, which is rich in water and other volatile elements, concentrating the melt and promoting the growth of large ingrown crystals, typically quartz and feldspar. So what this is saying that this particular rock is under intrusive igneous rocks, and these types of rocks are formed from the slow cooling of magma underground. So this magma is rich in water and other volatile elements, which concentrates it, promoting the growth of ingrown crystals such as quartz and feldspar. Okay, so let's get to a little history about pegmatite. Pegmatite is derived from Greek, which means to bind together, in reference to the intertwined crystals of quartz and feldspar in the texture known as graphic granite. So what this is saying is that the origin of this word is Greek, and it means to bind together, which is in reference to the intertwined crystals that of quartz and feldspar. The term was first used by René in 1822 as a synonym for graphic granite. Wilhelm Carr first used it in its present meaning in 1845. So what this is saying is that this word was first used as a synonym for graphic granite, and Wilhelm Carr was the first person to use it in its current meaning, which is a rock that is made up of intertwined crystals, which is formed through slow cooling. Yes. So now let's get to some characteristics of pegmatite. So it consists primarily of quartz, feldspar, and mica. So the intertwined crystals which are normally present in pegmatite is quartz, feldspar, and mica. So it forms large crystals. That is one characteristic. The crystals formed are not only intertwined, but they are large as well. It contains rare elements and valuable gemstones. So pegmatite contains a lot of rare elements such as lithium, beryllium, and others, and it also contains valuable gemstones as well. So now let's get to the uses of pegmatite. Pegmatite provides rare elements such as lithium and tantalum, which is vital for rechargeable batteries, for laptops and electrical vehicles, high-end electronics such as smartphones, cameras, and other components of like capacitors. So firstly, I'm going to show you a picture of these elements that I'm talking about. So this is a picture of tantalum. And this is a picture of lithium. And these elements are used in high-end electronic devices such as smartphones, capacitors, and many others. And this is a very good use of pegmatite because it contains all these rare elements, and that are extracted from it. So on to the next point. Minerals found in pegmatite, such as commercial feldspar and mica, are used in the production of ceramics, glass, and other chemical products. So, feldspar and mica, which are known for their crystalline properties, are used in ceramics and glass. So you know that these things, they are normally see-through and they are quite shiny and they are meant to be decorative. So pegmatite contains these crystals that are used in making them. Pegmatite is also a source of beryllium, which is used in high-strength alloys. So, as I stated earlier, a rare element such as beryllium is present in pegmatite, which is used in high-strength alloys. And alloy is a mixture of two metals. So now, let's get to some fun facts about pegmatite. They are zoned like onions. They form distinct layers or zones due to the changing in the chemical position of the remaining magma. As I stated before, as I stated before, I stated that the remaining melt is concentrated with volatile elements. It's concentrated with volatile elements, and for this reason, it creates the chemical composition changes a lot, and it creates distinct layers or zones, which makes it like an onion. And as we know, onions are made up of different zones and different layers, so this makes the pegmatite similar to an onion. So the crystals can grow incredibly fast. They grow at a rate of several inches per day due to the unique fluid-rich environment. So what this is saying is that due to the fluid-rich environment, which is the magma, they grow several inches per day. That means they don't grow very slowly, they grow very fast. They can also be beautiful architectural stones. Pegmatites are durable with an attractive mix of crystals that can be cut and polished for buildings. So, as we stated before, pegmatite contains a lot of rare gems and elements as well as the ingrown crystals. This gives it a very attractive color, and it can be cut and polished and can be used for buildings. It is also durable as well, which makes it last longer. So, it has been mined for centuries. Early settlers in the US used pegmatite for feldspar to use in ceramics. So that means that pegmatite just didn't become popular recently. Even though with the rise of technology, it has become more known and more useful, it has been mined for centuries by early settlers in the United States to mine for feldspar, which they use in their ceramics. So, in conclusion, today we learned about what pegmatite is. Firstly, we need to know that pegmatite is a type of inclusive indigenous rock with a coarse grain texture. Rare sources such as lithium and niobium are extracted from it and are used in high-tech industries. Gemstones such as emeralds and aquamarine are also gotten from it. Yes. Apart from that, we also learned about what a rock is and the three main types of rock. We learned that a rock is a naturally occurring solid mass that contains minerals or mineraloids, which are substances that mimic minerals but do not have its crystalline properties. Yes, we learned about the three main types of rocks, which is the igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. Here are the types of rocks. As you can see, these are some examples of igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. So you have granite over here. You also see sandstone. You have limestone over here. We have marble. We have slate. Yes. So let's move on. So under the igneous rocks, we learned that there are two types of igneous rocks, which is the intrusive igneous rock and the extrusive. So this is an example of an intrusive igneous rock. As you can see here, you can see granite and our very own pegmatite over here. These are also some examples of the extrusive igneous rock, as you can see them over here. Yes. So this is what we learned today. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation and you were able to learn a lot of information from it. My name is Edna Acquaah, and I am a member of the 1S1 class. Thank you very much. Good night.